I also talked a little bit about internal buy-in and how everyone just thinks I'm on Facebook all day or Twitter, or they really have no idea what I'm doing. What we did at Essendon is once we formed a new department, and Nick Trulson's in the room, he'll come and talk to us a little bit later. We've got a department of two called Fan Development. And so when we started this department, people have gone, what the hell is this department? What do you do? We didn't know. It was a brand new department. But what we decided to do was get some internal buy-in. So we moved across, we've got a venue at Windy Hill, and we took the majority of the staff across and explained to them in a half day what we were going to do. Here's our plans. This is how it can impact upon your KPIs. So we put every single department's KPIs around the room, from community to finance to football, every single department, and then we said, this is how we're going to help you in the digital world and the fan engagement world to hit your KPIs. So there was a little bit of internal buy-in there, and they could then get excited because we were excited, we were passionate, and they started to realise what we would bring to this organisation and what we'd bring to our supporter base. So there are a couple of lessons around the letters and learning to speak the right language. You've got to know how to speak to your board. They don't know what a CPM, CPM, SEO, what a hashtag is. So you need to make, when you're talking to those sorts of people, make sure you change your language for within that. One of our mantras at Essendon has been content of choice, platform of choice. So that's where we talk about using the right language for the right people in the right setting. So if someone wants to follow us on Facebook only, that's okay. We don't have to get them to become a member. We don't have to get them to come to a game. We don't have to get them to come to our website. If they decide to interact with our brand and our organisation via Facebook, we're going to relish that and use that to our advantage. And we'll talk a little bit about how we've done that a little bit further on. Now, Sean Anderson, Hockey Australia, are you in the room? What have you got in your bag? Okay. The toy soldier is to ensure that you prepare for battle, because it is a tough world out there. The amount of battles I've had internally with my board, with my senior management, with my line manager, with my other staff, with my fans, not my fans, although occasionally I like to think I've got 60,000 friends on Facebook and all these Twitter followers. It's a battle. Some people don't understand social media. Some people don't understand digital marketing. So you've got to make sure that you're prepared with the armoury to go and explain it to them. Go and explain to your board, here's my return on investment, here's where we're making money. Go to the fan development manager. Here's how I'm engaging with your fans. This is what they're saying. So we're sort of trying to relish the opportunity to get some communication from our fans and use that. Here's the data that I'm being able to collect. And I'll talk a little bit about data later. It's also really time consuming. So you need to be prepared for that battle. That Jess Cook's in the room, and she said something the other day when I had a match. She's from Cricket Victoria. And she said the first thing she does when she wakes up is check her Twitter account and Facebook account, her work Twitter and Facebook. That could be at 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been in bed on a weekend having a lazy lie-in on a Saturday, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter. It's 24 hours a day communication. So you've got to be prepared for that. You've got to love what you do to make sure that you want to play in that space as often as you can. It's also the battle for when people will say, why are we opening up the voice of the fans? Why does Henry Slattery get bagged everywhere? Why are we allowing that sort of thing? So you need to make sure that you understand why we're allowing that two-way conversation and try and prove what it's all about. So the things that we've done at Essendon is we start listening to the fans. So we'll say, okay, what would you like to see in your membership pack next year? Or what competitions would you like us to run? Or what sort of seats would you like at the ground? So getting some feedback from them, it's instantaneous in Facebook. We've had some really great results working in that space about how we can harness Facebook to get feedback from our fans. Because traditionally, it's been a one-way message. Here's your membership pack, here's where you're sitting, here's the magazine, here's the occasional story on our website. Now we're beginning to listen and working on our strategy based on what the fans want, because that's what it comes down to, essentially, is we need to be fan-centric. Now, I mentioned Jess. Jess, from Cricket Victoria, what have you got in your little show bag? Okay, so the most important thing here is you have to make money. Every day, my commercial operations manager says, Jono, where are you making money? We're paying you this huge salary and you've got this great resource. Why aren't you showing a return? So the money is very, very important. But what I try and say back to him is you need to be prepared to say it's not just about money. So at the start of when we put together this 80-page document, one of the key points was a little bit of field of dreams. Build it and they will come. It's a long-term vision that we will build sustainable transactional relationships. But you can't just go and make a transactional relationship straight at the start off the bat. You need to build some relationships and some rapport with your fans. So the other area that I come back when they say, where are you making your money, is I talk about data. Now, there was a question before around what you do with your data. Data is vital in our organisation. And what we're starting to learn is how vital and how much money comes from that data. So if they're saying how much money you're making, I can say, well, I haven't given anything to our bottom line. However, I've got 10,000 new customers who you've never spoken to because I ran a Facebook competition. They had to send me their email, their phone number, their date of birth, their address. And I've then cross-referenced with our CRM system, and they're new people. Or we haven't had their email address before. What value do you put on that data? And that's the next stage for Essendon, is working out the value of data and the value of the customer life cycle. So if I get a customer into Facebook for serving them an ad in Facebook and they've joined our group, which has cost me 12 cents, hopefully I'll now be able to say at the end of next year, well, the likelihood of that customer becoming a lifetime life customer might be $5,000. They might become a member, they might go to games, they might buy a pie at the footy. So we're trying to really work on, it's not just about money to the bottom line at the moment, it's about that relationship and building it over time, going back to Kate's glasses. Now, what we did in Facebook is probably our biggest success story. We've now got 60,000 fans in Facebook, which is about 20,000 higher than any other AFL club at the moment, and I think we're the biggest in Facebook fan group in Australia in Australian sport. Now, the Socceroos might have taken us over during the World Cup. But that's a whole new area of eyeballs we may not have seen before. So as I said, we've got the data, we've shown that these are some new people. So we're now talking to a new audience. So these people may never have got a membership offer. They may never have been able to buy a jumper. And if they're a Facebook fan, we'll give them a code and they can buy it 20% off. Then you've got them and you will try and build that relationship from there. So they buy a jumper and then you send them an email later on saying, hope you're enjoying the jumper. Have you thought about this book or have you thought about these socks? So it's understanding what customers are doing. So that's what the return on investment is for me at the moment, building the relationships and building the database, because it's a new role. I've been there for 6 months doing this, so it's not going to be instantaneously about money. So don't be scared to tell people that. Don't be scared to tell your manager, it's not just about money. Yes, the money will come and hopefully it will come. In the video we saw at the start, it was the 5 years of social ROI will be in 5 years' time. Make sure you quote those sorts of things to people who are asking those questions about money, because while it's no doubt important, there are the steps you have to take to get there. We also ran a new merchandise campaign. So we've got now new people buying new products in our bomber shop through Facebook, through Twitter, through Google AdWords, a multiple of digital platforms. So we're trying to get out there in a whole new way that's really trackable. Before we'd spend $40,000 on a catalogue that we'd send out in the mail and have no way of tracking it. And no one was accountable to that. And now I come along and say, well, I'd like to do this campaign, it's going to cost $1,000. Where's your return on investment, they ask. And I'm saying, we've just spent $40,000 on a DM piece. Where's their return on investment? And they can't prove that to us. So while we can track everything, we can say, yeah, look, this is great. We had 20,000 clicks and this is what the CPC was. This is what the revenue generated. That's great. But it also means that sometimes there's some difficulties when you have to talk about those sorts of things, because you can't justify it as much as the person who's done the DM piece. They don't have to even worry about it. So we've got this whole new audience through the digital platforms. Now, the next person, I'm going to get him to come and talk to us. He's the second half of the fan development team at Essendon. We want to talk a little bit about the scarf that's in your pack. Now, I'm sure all of you aren't going to go and take that scarf away and wear it. There's lots of people from other clubs and lots of Melbourne people who don't really care about Essendon at all. But Nick's going to come up and have a chat to us a little bit about the importance of why that scarf's in your pack. So can we welcome Nick to stage, please?